The victor takes all. The women, the children, the treasure, all become the spoils of the conquering army. For centuries across the ancient world, this was the brutal, unwritten rule. When a king was defeated, his family faced the ultimate humiliation. His wife was subjected to the conqueror, his daughters sold into slavery, and his sons slain. This was the dark price of losing a war. But then came the Persians. The Achaemenid Persian Empire, founded by Cyrus the Great in the 6th century BCE, was the largest and arguably most sophisticated empire the world had ever seen. Yet their policy regarding the wives and daughters of defeated enemy kings broke every single convention of ancient warfare. What they did was so revolutionary, so profoundly civilized, that it earned them the respect of their enemies and the admiration of later historians, including the Greeks who fought them. What the Persians did will not horrify you, but rather shatter your understanding of ancient conquerors. Cyrus the Great, the dawn of tolerance. The radical shift began with the founder himself, Cyrus the Great. Unlike the Assyrians and Babylonians, who routinely massacred and enslaved conquered populations, Cyrus operated by a unique moral code, reconciliation, and respect. His first great victory was the conquest of the Median Empire around 550 BCE. The Median king, Astyages, was Cyrus's own grandfather, according to some accounts. In any other empire, Astyages' wife and daughters would have been dragged away in chains. Instead, Cyrus elevated the royal family. He did not humiliate Astyages. Instead, he allowed his grandfather to live out his days comfortably at the Persian court. A political marriage. He solidified his legitimacy by marrying a daughter of the Median dynasty, seamlessly integrating the conquered royal line into his own. The women of the defeated Median court were not treated as chattel. They were treated as political assets and members of an honored annexed dynasty. The Lydian queen who expected death. The true astonishment came with Cyrus's conquest of the wealthy Lydian Empire and its legendary king, Croesus, around 547 BCE. Croesus was famed throughout the Greek world for his immense riches. When Croesus was finally defeated and captured in his capital, Sardis, his wife and the Lydian royal women were taken by the Persians. Based on the customs of the age, the Lydian queen would have expected the standard fare: public humiliation, assault, and enslavement. But the Persians did the exact opposite. They adhered to a strict code of conduct that mandated respect and protection for royal women, even those belonging to the defeated enemy. This Persian policy was rooted in two key concepts: status and honor. The Persians believed mistreating women, especially royal women, diminished not the defeated king, but the honor and authority of the conqueror himself. A great king, like Cyrus, showed his true magnitude not in cruelty, but in magnanimity. Political integration. These women were often instrumental in sealing future alliances and ensuring the loyalty of the new province. Mistreating them would be counterproductive to building a lasting, stable empire. The Lydian royal women were kept secure and provided for, treated with a dignity that shocked the Greeks who later recorded the accounts. The Babylonian conquest, wives in mourning. In 539 BCE, Cyrus conquered the grandest city in the ancient world, Babylon. The king, Nabonidus, was overthrown, and the city fell without a major battle. The most famous example of the Persian policy comes from a story involving the wife of a defeated Babylonian noble. When she heard of her husband's death, she was allowed to publicly mourn him. The Persian soldiers, rather than silencing her or abusing her, respected the official mourning period and allowed the rites to be carried out in accordance with her high status. This practice of respecting the funerary customs and royal status of defeated women was a stark contrast to the previous Babylonian and Assyrian empires, who often dragged royal women away from the corpses of their husbands as the ultimate act of degradation. The Persians allowed the women the dignity of grief, which was viewed as a profound form of respect. The standard set for Alexander. The enduring power of this Persian precedent is perhaps best seen centuries later, not with a Persian king, but with Alexander the Great, the man who would eventually conquer the Achaemenid Empire. When Alexander defeated Darius III at the Battle of Issus, he captured Darius's entire family, including his mother, Sisygambis, his wife, Statira, and his young daughters. This was the ultimate spoil of war. Alexander, who greatly admired Cyrus the Great, consciously copied the Persian policy of magnanimity. Plutarch records that Alexander treated these illustrious prisoners with such virtue and character that they seemed rather lodged in some temple or some holy virgin chambers than in the camp of an enemy. He ensured they heard nothing inappropriate and suffered no humiliation. Why did Alexander show this restraint? Because Cyrus the Great had established the standard. The Achaemenid Empire, by choosing dignity over degradation, had transformed the ethics of warfare for centuries, creating a surprising and powerful legacy of compassion that historians rarely associate with the word Persian. The wives of the defeated were not spoils of war, they were symbols of the conqueror's nobility. The lasting consequence is a piece of historical truth that truly overturns our expectations. The ancient superpower, often defined by its military might, was in this crucial aspect the most compassionate.